Why is it so hard to understand accents in a new language, but we have no problem with it in English? For instance, you might get pretty good at Mexican Spanish, but then when you hear an Argentinian speak Spanish, you get really confused. Are Spanish accents just more distinct than English accents? It's possible, but I don't think that's why you can't understand them. I think we take this for granted in the Anglophone world, but realistically, most of us have probably learned a few different accents. Maybe you can't do the best British accent, but if you grew up in the United States, you're honestly probably still passively fluent in received pronunciation. This also goes with the Australian accent, the Irish accent, African American vernacular English, Southern American English, and lots of other varieties. We're not born knowing these accents. I think it's just through the media and interactions with people that we become passively fluent in them. Well, wouldn't this imply that there could be accents that we're not fluent in? I'd bite the bullet and say yes. I think if you grew up only hearing one accent, any of those accents I said before would be really difficult for you, assuming they're not the one accent that you know. I think an example of an accent that most Americans are not fluent in is Indian English. You might be thinking, well, that's just because they're not speaking it right. But I think they are learning a semi-standard variety of Indian English, but it's just not so they can speak with you. Many Indians learn Indian English in order to communicate with other Indians who don't share the same native language as them. So they're not going to learn general American English because it's not the convention where they're from. I have a lot of work calls with folks from India who I initially had trouble understanding, but once I learned the quirks of Indian English, I was able to understand it just like any other accent. So this process of learning a new accent is just something you need to get used to when learning a new language. You can't just learn one variety of a language and expect all the other varieties to click. You have to put a little bit of effort in for each new accent you learn. So don't feel discouraged with that Argentinian accent or whatever it is for you. You know the language, you just need to make some adjustments for new accents.